Shalom, shalom, Israel. Welcome again to Watchmen of the Faith Ministries. My name is Kasada Bar, and what I want to do is continue where I left off at before. I left off in the book of, where was I? I was in the book of Yahu, which is the book of Jeremiah, and I was at the 31st chapter, and I want to just go over again verses 31, 32. And again, the title of this show is called Covenant of the Threshold, and what I want to do is elaborate on the importance of the blood of Yahushua. Okay, that is very, very important. Again, verses 31, 32. It says, "Behold, the days come." So we're talking about a future prophecy here. Okay, again, "Behold, the days come, saith the King, that I will make a new covenant." Now, when you reading like a Hebrew interlinear Greek English Bible, when you look up under the word new, okay, it's the Strong's number 2318 in the number 2319. And the word isn't actually new, the word is renew. So it's very important, again, like I always say, that we try to get an understanding from the scriptures from a Hebraic perspective. And this gives us a clearer way, or a better way, in trying to understand what these scriptures are actually trying to relate to us. So again, the Strong's number 2318 and the Strong's number 2319 explains to us that the word is not new, but the word is renew. So it should be read this way: "Behold, the days come, saith Yahushua, that I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Yashra'al and the house of Yehudah." Now, there's a lot going on in verse 31. This lets us know that there has not been a reunification of both northern and southern kingdom. The split still exists today. And what's happening now is that the Messiah now is going to reunify both houses, northern and southern kingdom. This is a future prophecy. And what's happening now is that the Messiah is using, okay, special men who wants to dedicate, and women who wants to dedicate their lives to serving the Father and help in raising the 12 tribes of Israel. Like I always say, the nation of Israel is a community. Now, verse 32 is also very important, because we're talking about, again, the importance of the blood of Yahushua. It says, "Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mizraim," okay, Egypt, the land of bondage, "to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the King." Now, what I found very interesting here now is, this is the question: when did the Messiah come into covenant relationship with the nation of Israel? Was it at Mount Sinai or was it at Egypt? I'm here to say that the Messiah came into covenant relationship with the nation of Israel in Egypt. Okay, the Messiah was a husband, okay, to the nation of Israel in Egypt. That is very important for us to understand. And the reason why I'm saying this is when I go to the book of Shemot, which is the book of Exodus, and I'm going to read the 7th verse. "And they," which is talking about the nation of Israel, but it has to also be understood that when the nation of Israel came out of Egypt, a mixed multitude also came out of Egypt. So not just Israel, but a mixed multitude. "And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts." Now this blood here now is talking about the blood of the Lamb, all right? But this is all alluding to now the Messiah, all of it. Every prophecy, okay, and every miracle is alluding to the Messiah. Again, "And they, the nation of Israel, shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it." So we're talking about the Passover here. And we have to also understand too now that what's going on here is that the Messiah is the atoning sacrifice for the nation of Israel. So what I'm trying to bring out here now, and again, the title of the show is called Covenant of the Threshold, all right, the blood of Yahushua. And so we see now that the blood of the Lamb, which is representing the Messiah, is to be put on the two side posts of the doors. All right. Now, it's been taught to us, and I have no problem with this. When we see a lot of the old movies on TV and things like that, and even in the scripture, it tells us that the death angels flew over the houses, okay, that had the blood on the doorposts. But what I'm here to say now, I want to expand on the scripture. What's actually happening here now is that the blood on the doorpost, we now have Yahushua now crossing the threshold, okay? He's now in intimate relationship with the people that's in the house, because the blood is representing the Messiah. And so again, when we put the blood on the side doorpost, that blood is a seal covenant. The blood is representing the Messiah. Israel, we was not purchased with money. We were purchased or redeemed by the blood of Yahushua. And so what's happening now is that the Messiah is now crossing the threshold, coming into covenant relationship with the people that's in the house. This is the reason now when you go back to the book of Jeremiah, I go back to the book of Jeremiah as we put all of this together. Verse 32, I'm going to read it again. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahushua. Now, in order for the Messiah, okay, to be a husband to the nation of Israel, there has to be an act of intimacy involved. I'm going to say it again. In order to be a husband, there has to be an order, or there has to be some interaction where there was intimacy involved. And that involvement came when the blood was placed upon the doorpost, okay? And what happened now is that the Messiah crossed the threshold, again, coming into covenant relationship with the people that was in the house, all right? Now, on our earthly level, the same thing happens. And I'm not going to get graphic with it. When a man is now intimate, okay, with a woman, because in a lot of cultures, that vaginal area is also called the door. And so now when the man, okay, comes in contact with the woman, okay, he penetrates the woman. So now he's in covenant relationship with the woman. And this is actually what happened when we were told to put the blood on the doorpost. And again, the Messiah crossed the threshold, or he crossed the door, coming into covenant relationship with the people in the house. And this is the reason why we can say that that I can say, and I'm sure everybody else would agree once we do a more thorough investigation of what's going on in the book of Jeremiah 31:32, that this was an intimate act that Yahushua had with the children of Israel. Okay, that's very important. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to elaborate on that a whole lot more. What I want to do now is go back to the book of, I want to go back to the book of Shemot, the 12th chapter, and read the 7th verse again. And they, which is the nation of Israel, should take of the blood, and the blood is representing Yahushua, because again, everything is alluding to the Messiah. And you should take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorpost of the house, and they should eat it, which was the Passover. And again, at the same time, the Messiah was the atoning sacrifice for the nation of Israel. All right. Now, what I want to do is go to the book of Devarim, which is the book of Deuteronomy. And again, I want to exhaust this, okay? Covenant of the threshold, the importance of the blood of Yahushua. The book of Devarim. Book of Devarim, let's go to the 22nd chapter. The 22nd chapter. 22nd chapter. And I'm going to read from 22nd chapter, and I'm going to read from the 28th verse down to the 29th verse. And again, it would be very good, okay, to read the whole chapter of Devarim, the 22nd chapter, okay, because I'm not going to be able to go through the whole chapter, all right, because that'll just take up too much time. Now, verse 28 says, if a man, this man here is representing, okay, Yahushua, okay, on the literal meaning of it, it is talking about a literal man. But what I'm doing now is showing now everything that Yahushua went through, the nation of Israel went through. Okay, so there are rules and regulations for Yahushua, and there's rules and regulations for the nation of Israel. All right, this is a body. The groom follows the rules and regulations, and the bride follows the rules and regulations. And it's all alluding to a bigger picture, because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm trying to change anything. It says, if a man, this man is alluding to Yahushua. If Yahushua find a damsel, this damsel is the nation of Israel. That is a virgin, and the nation of Israel was a virgin when the Messiah chose or selected the nation of Israel in Egypt. She was not married to anybody else. Remember the promise that the Father gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, the nation of Israel was in Egypt when he called her out. And during that time, she was not married to another. So again, if a man, which is Yahushua, find a damsel, the damsel is the nation of Israel, that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and the nation of Israel was not married to another quote unquote God, okay, or power. Because we know the whole thing about the word God, okay, that's even a blaspheming word. So again, God, Israel was not married to another power. I would say it like that. So, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found. Now, we know now that the Messiah didn't literally, okay, lie down and have actual sexual intercourse with the nation of Israel. But again, when you go back to the book of Shemot, the 12th chapter, the 7th verse, okay, when the blood was put on the doorpost, that was the act of intimacy that the Messiah had with the nation of Israel, coming into covenant relationship with her. So that will be the lying part, or the laying part, okay? He's crossing the threshold. And lie with her, and they be found. Then the man, which is Yahushua, that lay with her, shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. Now, this is how I explain the 50 shekels of silver. We know that Israel was not bought with gold and silver and diamonds and things like that. Israel was bought with the blood of Yahushua. Again, when you go back now to the book of Shemot, the 12th chapter, the 7th verse, when the blood was put on the doorpost, okay, and the Messiah now is going to cross the threshold, coming into covenant relationship with the people in the house. His blood, okay, was the price that he paid, not the actual 50 pieces of the shekels of silver. I'm going to read it again. Then the man, which is Yahushua, that lay with her, which is the nation of Israel, shall give the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. So who is the groom? The groom is Yahushua. Who is the bride? The bride is the nation of Israel. And she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. All right? He may not put her away all his days. All right? So we know now that the Messiah, he did give the nation of Israel a bill of divorce, but the Messiah did not marry another. That was the purpose of the Messiah taking on the sins of the adulterous woman. Because for the penalty, okay, for committing adultery is death. And it was the groom, Yahushua, who took on the sins of the adulterous woman so that the woman wouldn't die. Okay, and we're going to go into that in the book of Romans, okay, the 7th chapter, 1 through 4. Okay, the book of Romans, the 7th chapter. I'm going to read 1 to 4, but I'm running out of time here, okay? So what I'm going to have to do is pick up in the next show with Romans, the 7th chapter, and I'm going to be reading from 1 to 4. With that, brothers and sisters, I say shalom.